I think I learned that it's the sixth oldest, right, in the country. I really don't know, because I haven't been here for that. And so to me, a rivalry is like when both teams are winning games and it's close, not just because one fan base doesn't like the other fan base, you know. I mean, to make it a rivalry, both sides got to do something, and I don't know that we have made it a rivalry. And so that's what I'm here to do, to try and, make this thing a rivalry. It's kind of like football, right? Like, I know everybody gets up for it, but our football team smacks them dudes, right? And so...
Had some turnover issues earlier in the season. Is it related issues, or how did you manage to clean that up earlier?
I think we did a better job of running our stuff and putting guys in the right spots. Looking back at the TCU game, we made a lot of mistakes that we hadn't been making, and stuff that we've been running where guys were in the wrong spots. And so for whatever reason, we weren't ourselves the other day.
I don't know what experience you have with Bill Self using unusual defenses with you with Baylor, but he's kind of famous for this game. Whenever K-State shoots hot, all of a sudden they're in box one, triangle two, all kinds of weird stuff. How as a coach do you prepare for that, knowing that might come out?
Well, the blessing is that we faced a triangle in two. Texas did it, and so did Baylor. They both went triangle in two against us, and so we have some stuff in. We've seen that. I know Coach Self, because he's such a man-to-man guy, that he refuses to play zone, so he does the triangle so he can say, I don't play zone, and I get it. I understand it, and so we faced it before.
Being considered what you said earlier about this maybe not being a rivalry yet in your tenure, what have you done to try and maybe learn some of the history of the series from former players and former coaches and fans? Absolutely nothing,
right? This is what I've found out about this thing, right? Like, really, this is what I wanted. My message to our students, okay, because that I don't want them to show up to the game and yell and scream, and I don't want our fans to show up to the game because they hate the other team, right? I want them to show up because they love Kansas State. Right, our guys, every guy on our roster, they didn't pick this school because they hated somebody else. They picked this school because they love us as a staff, they love this community, and they love this university. And I would be real interested to see how we can really change this thing around if we're motivated by love, right, rather than by hate. And I just feel, and I know I'm upset some people, I feel like the Kansas State community and family, allow them to live rent-free in our heads way too much. Okay, this game, it's one game in the conference. If we win, we get one win. If we lose, we get one loss. That's it. I came to try and win a Big 12 championship and win a national championship. Okay, and the year we won the national championship, we split with these guys, right? And so that's my thing. Let's show up to the game because we love Kansas State. Let's show up to every game because we love Kansas State. Let's pack Bramlage and make it the Octagon of Doom because we love Kansas State, not because we hate somebody else.
When you are going up against Kansas, I mean, they've kind of been, along with Baylor, the standard of the conference for the last few seasons. How do you go about maybe getting that through to your team and say, hey, if we want to be at the top of the conference, we got to be able to beat teams like this?
Well, the truth is that every year except 1 year for the last probably 15 years, you could lose to whoever you consider the best team in the conference twice and still win the conference. Okay, so that's not the thing, right? It's about let's just win the next year. Let's prepare and work and do everything we can at a championship level to give us an opportunity to win. And this is not like an overnight thing, right? It's about building a certain level of confidence and raising the standard of expectation. And I feel like we've done that as a staff. We've done that with the players that we've brought in. We're going to continue to do that. And then it's going to trickle over to results on the floor.
Coach Self usually predicates his defense on having that big rim protector back there. This year they don't have they've got a more non-traditional post. How's that changed them?
They're still a top 40 defense in the country, and they still have like one of the best effective field goal percentage defenses. What I know about Coach Self is that the reason he's a Hall of Famer is because he adapts both offensive and defensively to the personnel that he has, and puts his team in the best position to be successful and win a championship. That's how they approach every year, and that's the same way that we're going to approach it.
How do you try to stop a guy like Grady, who can Grady Dick can kind of shoot the ball at will and get on a hot streak very quickly? How do you kind of try to run him off the 3-point line as much as you can?
Yeah, you have to have attention to detail on that, and a real awareness of where he's at. And everybody's been trying to do that, and very few teams have been successful. But it's not just him, right? I mean, everybody ask about Grady, and you're saying Jalen Wilson, who is arguably right now the leader for Conference Player of the Year and an All-American, and their leading scorer, and one of only 3 Kansas players to average 20 points a game, in the last however many years. So it's not just him. They have several weapons that you have to figure out how to make it tougher for them, right? You're not going to slow them down. The goal is to make it tough for them.
Did you feel like your team lacked energy coming out of the gates early Saturday?
Yes. Yeah, we lacked energy. We lacked focus. We lacked a lot of things in that game. And the credit goes to TCU because they were tougher than we were, right? And that's something that we want to pride ourselves on, is trying to be the toughest team. And they were the toughest team on Saturday.
Are you able to put your finger on anything that you guys lacked?
I have my theories, and I've shared it with the team, and we'll see if I was right or wrong.
I don't expect you to answer if David's going to be available, so I'll ask it this way. If he is available, where's his conditioning level at, considering he hasn't played since December 31st? I don't know, but I know Luke and Phil are doing a great job with him, and when David's ready, he's going to play, and I'm going to try and put him in a situation where it gives him the best opportunity to be successful.
You look at the point guard matchup, obviously Marquise, big-time assist man, Dejuan Harris, another big-time assist man. Is he kind of what makes that Kansas offense go?
Yeah, and he has weapons around him. But, I agree. Somebody said it the other day that he might be the most underrated player in the country, and I firmly agree with that. You can't speed him up. He makes the right decisions. He makes the team better. When he's not on the floor, they're not as efficient offensively, and so you get all the credit in the world to that young fella, right? Like betting on himself and going in and just buying in and working really, really hard. And every year he gets better, and he adds a little something more to his game. And it's credit to him, and he's fun to watch, not fun to prepare for.
You talk about one game. This will be on ESPN. It'll be on Mecca College basketball on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And there'll be a packed house, of course. Many of your players have not been in this environment before. Maybe what are some of the things that you share with them leading up to this game?
I think every game that we've gone through moving through the last 4 or 5 games has been something that we have not experienced, right? And the other day on ESPN2, that was our first time. I didn't have to tell my mom how to log on to watch the game, right? And so they didn't have to tell their boys, right? Everybody was telling them, I'll get to watch, you know what I mean? And so every one of them knew everybody in America that wanted to watch them play could watch them play, right? You don't think that affects 18 to 23-year-olds? And I don't know if you could have added any more adjectives to what you just said, the Mecca and just thinking as you're saying it, how big it seems, right? And So yes, they're humans, and yes, we're gonna have to adjust to it, and yes, we've addressed it. Yes, we've talked about it, but they still have to go through and live through that emotion, right? And the team on the other side, you know, they've been through that. They're everybody's Super Bowl, right? They've gotten everybody's best game, and so they're used to that. So that's somebody you was asking about. How do you get to where you make that turn? Well, you have to go through these things, and how do you respond to them, right? And so it's a growing process.
Curtis Kelly is on your staff, and he was around when it was a pretty good rivalry. Have you had him talk to the guys at all about?
Curtis talks to the dudes every day, but we didn't have him talk to them about like the last sellout. Like, we're not doing anything different than we've done, right? Like, we're approaching this thing. We have worked every day in a way that would put us in a position to have a chance to win a Big 12 championship and go to the NCAA tournament, right? That's been the thing that we've talked about from the very beginning, and so we're not changing, right? This now, I know other people around, the fans and all of that, this thing might mean, but this is the next game on the schedule.
You mentioned the second chance points category again after the TCU game. How do you kind of go about solving that?
You hit people a little bit harder, and you grab the ball with two hands, and going back and looking at it, it wasn't like we didn't get good shots out of it. We just didn't make them, So in hindsight, it wasn't like we did dumb things when we got the rebound. It's just we just weren't productive with it. The ball didn't go in the hole.
A matchup like this, it's very easy for guys to put pressure on themselves. Coming off of a loss, there's that added pressure. How do you try to keep your guys from feeling that intensity going in tomorrow night?
Just your question, a matchup like this, like makes it seem like it's something more, right? And so we're not talking about that, right? This is who they are. This is who we are. This is what we have to do to beat them. These are the adjustments we have to make. If we can do these things, A, B, C, gives us a chance to be successful, and have if the game is close down the stretch, that's one. Now, we can do what we've done all year long, is figure out a way to win it.
Why is it important for you to not make this game bigger than any other game on your schedule?
Because it's not. It doesn't win us the national championship. All right, it doesn't win us the Big 12. It doesn't guarantee us the NCAA tournament. Right? Nobody's getting drafted after this game. It's not. Right? If you win this game and lose the next 4, right? What good is it, right? So it's not. It's the next game on the schedule.
The way Green closed down in Fort Worth, did he gain any trust from you?
Yeah. He's gaining trust. His energy level has picked up. Tyke has a 42, 44-inch vertical. We've only seen it like 2 times this year, right? Everybody in America is supposed to know he's got that kind of a vertical. But, and when you're an athlete like that, people should know you're an athlete like that. And so that's what we're trying to get out of him. We're trying to get out of him to just cut loose and make mistakes, but make them going fast, right? Don't make him because you was hesitant and too cautious. And so I feel like he's starting to come around, and so hopefully we're moving in the right direction with it.
You talked about having the number by your name. Now you're playing a team with a smaller number by their name. So is it easier now again
always
to get your guys fired?
It's always easier when their number is smaller than yours. It just is. It's just the human nature of things.
Has Naquan Tomlin played to a level that would meet your expectations, and how can he elevate his play?
I don't know I've ever coached a guy that played to a level that met my expectations.
When you look at your locker room, you got a lot of senior leaders in that group. Does that make it easier on the staff, trying to bounce back after a loss, knowing you have a bunch of veteran guys in there?
Yeah, well, after watching film, what makes it easier is that wasn't our team that I watched, and for whatever reason, that wasn't our team, and like I said, there's a lot of we can have a lot of speculations about what caused them to not be themselves, but we know we can play better than that. We can play with more energy than that, with more focus than that. And so, and our guys care. Like, they care about each other and they care about this university, and so they're gonna play better.
Is this a game where you want maybe Naquan, we can see him, kind of get, beyond the three-point line to kind of maybe space the floor a bit more? Is this a game where you rely on Marquise and Keontae, of course? Is this a game where you might want to use Naquan a little bit more because he does have a little bit of a height advantage over KJ Adams, obviously on KU?
I don't know. Like, KJ Adams at 6'7", he plays like he's 7 feet tall, and he might have the quickest jump in the country. I thought the kid who got hurt from Arkansas, I think they're both comparable in how quickly they get off the ground and how fast they can get to the top. So I don't necessarily see the height thing as necessarily as an advantage. I think we're going to have some advantages in some areas if we can take advantage of it. But this is not we need everybody to show up and everybody to be connected and everyone to play at a high level.
Coach, not necessarily a question about this game, just kind of on the season in general. At the beginning of the year, seemed to be an emphasis on the flop rule, and now maybe it's kind of not been such an emphasis. Have you gotten any explanation from the conference or officials on where you guys are standing on that aspect?
I'm going to stay away from the referee questions, if you don't mind.
How proud are you of this team at this point in the season?
Oh man, I'm so proud of these guys, and not for what they've done on the basketball court, right? We've had the summer we had the highest team GPA for a summer session. In the fall we had the highest team GPA in the history of K-State for the fall semester. I don't like our guys are not in the news for any of the wrong reasons, and as you look in the news now, some things going on. I thanked our guys today. I can go home at night and put my head on a pillow and go to sleep and know that our dudes are making good decisions and making the right choices. And for the people that they are, I'm so proud of them. The fact that they're, winning basketball games and, making everybody else proud in those aspects, that's just icing on the cake.
Do you feel the energy around Manhattan right now?
Yeah, I haven't, this is my first time, so it's like, it's not like I have anything to compare it to. And from the moment I showed up here, I felt like, man, these folks are different, and it was inspiring, and it's made us as a staff just want to work harder to produce a product that they'll be excited about, and because they deserve it. Our fans deserve it.